And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So look, thanks to you, over the course of the last 30 days, 50,000 new subscribers. Thanks to you. So we are certainly on our way to that 500,000 number. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, watch, keep the comments going, and share with a friend. One friend each, and we more than get there, because the stupidity just never stops. Think about this. Fox News, struggling to keep up with the news cycle. Unfortunately, embarrassing themselves terribly on live TV. Fox host Will Cain was speaking with Representative Maxwell Frost to discuss why he's in El Salvador with other Democrats. Well, you want to know why, right? Do I need to say, Mr. Garcia? Meanwhile, during their interview, Frost brought up Trump's claims that he was going to try to send, remember this, quote, homegrowns to El Salvador. Cain, of course, said that he wasn't aware that the president had said that. Play the clip.
And we want to make sure that we draw the line here at Kilmeade Garcia, because it's not just about him. It's about the fact that in the Oval Office, Donald Trump brought up that he wants to do the same thing to quote unquote homegrowns. Homegrowns being U.S. citizens, a complete violation of our Constitution. I don't want to wait till it gets to that point. The reason I'm here as a Congressman representing Orlando, Florida, is because I've received hundreds and hundreds of calls and emails and mail from my constituents. I represent a lot of immigrants. I represent a lot of people who see themselves represented in this situation. They're saying, Congressman, do what you can now, because it's him today and it can be one of us tomorrow.
I want to dig in on that point. You've made that point several times, but before we move forward, I have to stop down with what you just said. Donald Trump's made a statement about wanting to deport American citizens. Do you have that in front of you? I've not seen that statement. Can you please quote where that comes from, that he would like to deport American citizens?
He said it in the Oval Office. He said he wants to go for homegrowns next, people born and raised in the United States. Citizens.
Do you have anything? And then do you have anything besides your word on that? I have not seen that. So. Beyond your word, do you have the source of that? I would love to see that clip or that transcript of him saying he wants to deport American citizens.
There is a clip online. I encourage people to just Google Donald Trump homegrown, deporting homegrown criminals. It is something he said in the Oval Office.
Well, you understand how television works. We have these fancy earpieces. I like to get very few instructions from my staff while you and I have a conversation, but we are in search of that clip as we speak. So as you and I have this conversation in the next several minutes, we'll be looking for that clip. But let's keep digging in on this idea. We'll stick.
Can somebody please explain to me why these idiots in his ear didn't say, Max, shut the fuck up. You're wrong. The guy's right. Trump said it multiple times, including in the Oval Office. But now I want to play for you a clip of Trump speaking to President Bukele of El Salvador about this exact issue. Play the clip.
Homegrown criminals next. Yeah, I said homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places. Yeah, that's fair. All right. It's not big enough. No, yeah. Come on. So this is a much different office.
I mean, hello. So if that wasn't enough, Fox later fact-checked their host and aired a clip of Trump talking about deporting U.S. citizens. Cain, of course, said that he would not apologize. Why? Because they don't have to. Play the clip.
I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country.
And he goes on right after that to say, but we have to obey the law. It will always be to obey the law. After years of very fine people, among other hoaxes, I'm suspicious of any Democrat quoting President Trump in full context. And I make no apologies. None. On not being able to know or recall that specific clip, because it doesn't reinforce my fever dream Handmaid's Tale vision of America, where Lily, who reads The Bulwark on the Upper West Side, is about to be deported right after Kilmeade Garcia. President Donald Trump was clearly talking about obeying the law. I'm doubtful the law would allow him to deport homegrown criminals. But it's a far cry again from the Handmaid's Tale vision of the next after Garcia is you.
Truly amazing. Fuck you. Okay. Meanwhile, during Frost's interview with Cain, he explained that Abrigo Garcia represents a larger issue, a much larger issue than your myopic thinking. Play the clip.
He had a protected status, as you just read. And if he is to be detained and deported, there's a process he needs to go through. And that's the whole situation here. I'm not here to litigate even a very specific person. I'm here to talk about the fact that he represents a very big problem with this administration, that they have no problem scooping somebody up based on tattoos and vibes and sending them to a foreign country's prison. And then we have the commander talking about sending homegrowns next. And so,
yeah, I mean, this guy must feel like a total idiot. No, seriously. And if he doesn't, it means he's stupider than I think he is. He also, of course, spoke about Trump not respecting the Supreme Court's rulings. Play that clip.
We want to happen, but that's not what's going on. And you want to talk about courts. Wait, hold on. You want to talk about courts, but the highest court in the land told Donald Trump what to do: facilitate him coming back to the country. And guess what they did? They flipped the bird to the Supreme Court. That's not the rule of law. And so we should.
Yeah. I mean, what's spinning inside his head? A fucking gerbil? Seriously? What is he talking? Trump ignored not just the lower federal court, but then the Supreme Court's ruling. It's the distinction between effectuate and facilitate. They believe facilitate just means we have to think about trying, which we don't want to do. Now, look, as we've seen time and time and time again, Jessica Tarlov is the only Fox host with a shred of honesty. And she spoke about the Supreme Court ruling that came out over this past weekend. Play the clip.
They're doing, because the second Supreme Court ruling that happened under the cover of darkness, which was to stop this flight full of Venezuelans, we know there were innocent people on that flight. There was someone on it who had been picked up as quote unquote Trenda Aragua because there was a picture on Facebook of him with a multicolored pistol that they were saying was actually a gun, but it was a toy. And they put out pictures of, I think, 9 people who were on this flight, even though there were pictures of him in 2 different boxes. So like prisoner number 8 and 9 was the same person. And they said, look at all of these tattoos. But if you actually did an analysis of the tattoos, you would see things like biblical verses, which I don't think mean you're in a gang, or the name Alexander tattooed in Arabic over the date, over 1986. So I understand that it's hard to say that you're sorry. And I have a toddler and I know what it's like when their face is covered in chocolate and they say, I didn't eat the cookies. I didn't eat the cookies, Mama. But that's what's going on here. They need to slow down and follow the process. We're not against deporting people. Just get it right.
Yeah, they do have to get it right. That's all that this is about. You see, here's the problem with Trump and team. While the concept is right, it's the messenger that's wrong. Again, the message is semi-right. If you're in this country illegally, sure. If you commit a crime, sure. Go, right? You do need to come into the country legally. Now, Abrigo Garcia did do that, but that didn't matter to them. And because no one in that entire administration can acknowledge a mistake, this is what they do. They double down, they triple down, and then they quadruple down. It's something that I wrote about in my Substack of this morning that I referred to as disaster strikes, find a fall guy. But before I even get to that, I want to show you something. I want to continue on the theme of Fox News embarrassing themselves. I mean, they've really become like a 5th-rate sort of journalistic outlet, if you could even call them that, just fucking embarrassing themselves. Just this morning on Fox and Friends, moron Brian Kilmeade accidentally introduced Pete Hegseth as the former Secretary of Defense. Play the clip.
Here to set the record straight himself, the current Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth, former host right here on Fox and Friends. Pete,
hey,
great
Brian.
To see you, Mr. Secretary.
Great to see you.
Yeah, former. Meanwhile, Hegseth, of course, continues to deflect, and he continues to blame who? The media, right? Why not just blame Joe Biden for that one, too? They blame the media for Signalgate 2. Play the clip.
I don't have time for the hoax press that peddles old stories from disgruntled employees. We should be talking about the decimation of the Houthis, how we're pushing back the Chinese, how we have a new defense area at the southern border. Instead, disgruntled former employees are peddling things to try to save their ass.
Did you?
And ultimately, that's it's not going to work.
Mr. Secretary, did you?
Okay, like I said, as I wrote in my Substack, I had a paragraph there that I go, cue the return of Signalgate 2. The sequel no one asked for, but everyone saw coming, courtesy of America's resident intellectual dumpster fire, Pete Hegseth. Yes, Pete somehow managed to broadcast classified military plans again, this time targeting the Houthis in Yemen. Now, because naturally, posting sensitive war secrets to your wife, to your brother, and to your lawyer on a public platform is exactly what any savvy strategist would do, right? So maybe next week, here's what Pete's going to do. He's going to get a live stream of SEAL Team 6 raid on Truth Social for those sweet engagement numbers that they're looking for. Because let me be very clear. All this does is further unravel Trump's already non-existent international credibility. You see, the problem is that our allies, they know that we're reckless. And our adversaries, they know that we're idiots. And here's what Trump is going to say. Pete's a patriot, but he made a mistake. Again. Now, as somebody that was in that inner circle, as somebody that was known as Trump's fixer, let me give you the real kicker here. Trump has no loyalty to anyone, least of all Pete. So yes, while publicly standing by him behind the scenes, Pete's already quietly being discussed for replacement. Trust me on that. Because when it comes to loyalty in Trump's world, that's reserved for his mirror. So listen, like I said before, we need to continue to build this community so that our voices cannot be drowned out. Not by Pete Hegseth, not by Donald Trump, not by the GOP, not by anyone. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. We're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.